Okay. Give me an example of an accomplishment you are proud of.
Okay. One specific accomplishment that I'm particularly proud of was back in high school. I participated in the Future Business Leaders of America, and my senior year, in the summer of my senior year, I was lucky enough to compete in nationals for business ethics presentation, which is about a 5 minute presentation where you discuss gift giving in the workplace and its ethics to five different judges, and then in front of an entire crowd. I was very nervous, and it was a very challenging experience. But as I pushed through and won states, I was able to place fifth nationally. And through that, I learned a bunch of new developments in public speaking. For example, um, the most important the most important point for me was to be constantly thinking and focused on what you're speaking about. Obviously, through an entire crowd, it gets very confusing and you start to jumble up on all your words. But if you're consistently focused on the subject at hand, it will both help you deliver the speech and help you answer questions after.
Okay. What are the most rewarding aspects of a job?
Now, I've worked a few jobs like throughout my time in high school and then a little bit in college, and I've noticed a few certain things that sort of collide. And one of it is with your coworkers and with customer service and everything. You can develop a lot of empathy for others. Now, I'm lucky to be in a financial position where I don't have to worry about paycheck to paycheck, but I knew a lot of people, a lot of coworkers I could, and that really helped me put perspective. And then also, a job can sort of emphasize your strengths in a sort of way. So, so for example, um, like throughout my time working at Target, I was a backroom aisle manager at Target. I started to get really organized, and I realized that I had a lot of strengths in just taking up a new task and just completely organizing an entire section for efficiency. And that was something that really was developed through a job, which is great. Um, and then just the basic like sentiment that you're contributing to society or contributing to a goal is pretty nice because I picked up the Target job during the COVID pandemic, and it was really helpful for me to actually feel like I'm contributing rather than just like quarantining at home, which I was doing way before. But that's something that really helped me, and that was really rewarding through a job. And I mean, lastly, with I had a job at this place called Famous Toastery. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a breakfast place, and their emphasis on customer service was huge. And they like to say like, make it seem like you're giving a performance to the audience, which is just the customers, and that you're just constantly offering people something. You're getting something as fast as you can, and it really helped strengthen my idea of what a brand image is.
Okay. Tell me about a time when your first solution did not resolve an issue and what did you do?
So something that always keeps coming in the back of my head is that initially when I applied to Chapel Hill, I did not get in. So I'm now a sophomore transfer here. But yeah, I didn't initially get into UNC after applying straight out of high school. So instead of like being devastated by this and just like crying every day, I went to Miami of Ohio for my first year, and I didn't go with the mentality that I was going to transfer. The real reason I transferred was tuition based reasons. But once I set out that goal that I was going to transfer to Chapel Hill, um, I got a 4.0 at Miami of Ohio. And then I picked up a student job, and then I joined the rowing team. I just did everything, and I just worked on essays that would help like solidify the fact that I can get into the school. And I really didn't give up, even though it was a second chance, and now I'm here.
What are your key skills?
So my key skills: holding a leadership position in high school for FBLA, like I talked about earlier. I was actually the director of recruiting, and that there was a whole interview process. It was very difficult, very competitive, but what was emphasized through that was that they created actually a new position for me. Director of recruiting didn't exist, and it was around my strengths, which was communication and leadership, and of course the ability to like the ability to unify different members. Because during my time there, we actually created the largest competitive class in school history and just the largest membership class in total. Um, but it really goes back to empathy for a bunch of different um, a bunch of different students, a bunch of different prospective members, because I was able to speak with many different people who had many different goals. I mean, it's a very versatile club in terms of what you're looking for, and I was able to just build on other people's strengths to just be able to recruit them. But then in the end, it all worked out for everyone as a mutually beneficial relationship.
How do you manage your day so that you accomplish the most important have to do items?
So every day for school, and especially school at home, is pretty weird. It's new, but I always set up at the beginning of the week. I set up a comprehensive list of like things I have to do and the dates that are due. So each day I have like a smaller list of just everything that's due, so I can hold myself accountable, make sure I do them because I'm the type of guy that would forget it. Um, but also, I can also help let others be accountable for me. For example, like if I tell my brother like I have this due, like make sure I do it, then he'll probably like ask me later. You know, it's something just to make sure I don't forget. Um, but then I like to divide a bunch of different of these tasks into subsections. Like there are things that I must have to get done. There's things that are top priority, but then there are other things that I can just divide into different classes. And of course, using colors for that is pretty helpful, but sometimes I'm too lazy to do that. But staying consistently focused on the objective throughout the day is the most important part because a lot of times, especially during like a pandemic, I find myself really struggling with motivation and just like getting everything done in the day. Like usually you just want to stay in bed, you know, don't go to the 8 a.m. class. But if you are consistently focused on the objective, ultimately you'll be able to succeed at the end of the day. And of course, set aside some time for leisures. I always have to do that, you know. Usually at the night is when I'm done with all my work, so I can finally take a deep breath and just spend time for leisurely activities. All right.
That was really good. Okay.
All right, you're going next.
Yeah, okay, so I can ask the questions for this one.
Okay.
Mm. Let me bring it up. Okay. Give me an example of an accomplishment you're proud of.
Okay, so an accomplishment that I'm really proud of is being to represent my high school in various ways. I was chosen to attend Tar Heel Girls State, which is a week-long government camp composed of girls from the state of North Carolina. And so I got to learn what it means to be a nation, the importance of our veterans, and sort of just how government works. But for me personally, I think the most important thing that I took away from the experience was just the importance of relationships with people. And so, in order for like a nation to be successful, it takes cooperation and communication. And I believe that, you know, the same thing goes for everyday life and, you know, working a job. And so I learned these skills and met so many nice girls that I still keep in touch with today. And then just one more example, I was awarded the All-American Award through the Universal Dance Association and got the opportunity to dance in Walt Disney World. And this was a little larger scale. I was with girls from all over the country, so um, it I learned a great sense of leadership and showed a lot of school pride throughout doing this. And so they're just very close to my heart, and I just made lasting friendships, and they shaped me to who I am today.
Thank you. What are the most rewarding aspects of a job?
So I think that the most rewarding aspects of a job is being productive, challenging yourselves and beating those challenges, and then just getting to network with other people. And so I think it's really self-rewarding to know that what you're doing is leaving a positive impact on other people. And I'm the kind of person who like strives off the well-being of others. So not only working a job fulfills that for me, but also, you know, challenging myself and through the tasks that I face. And I think that there should always be challenges. I don't think that anything should come fully easy because that's just how we grow as people and as workers. And then just finally, like my last point, I think that networking with other people and meeting new people and growing those lasting relationships is a very important aspect, just to like open up new opportunities.
And tell me about a time when your first solution did not resolve an issue and what you did.
Okay, so one time I had to choreograph a dance for dance team at my high school for the biggest competition of the year, which was honestly very stressful for me. I spent days coming up with this dance, working very hard right here in my living room on the dance. And so um, I went to practice, super excited, taught the girls the dance, watched my like the final product, and it just did not work. The girls weren't getting it. The transitions were terrible. Like it was a very sad day for me just to know that I put all that work into it for it not to work out in the end. Um, but I just sat everyone down and we decided that we were going to take a whole day to just improvise. And so what we did in the end, I let the girls come up with like a little bit of each part of the dance. And so then we took all the parts together and put them together, and, you know, it actually worked, and we ended up using that dance for the competition. But it was just impactful because it was something we accomplished as a team, and then we could perform it as a unit. So
And what would you say your key skills are?
I think my key skills are organization and leadership. I organized a service project through National Honor Society at my school, and I got all the members to get school supplies and hygiene products together and then take them to the school. And I spent that whole day sorting and packaging them up into boxes. And then I personally delivered them to, it's called the Boys and Girls Home of North Carolina, which is like a foster care. And I delivered them to all the children. So it's one of my favorite volunteer works that I've ever done. So, and then I also strive in leadership positions. Like I mentioned earlier, I was the officer of the West Brunswick dance team my junior year and then captain my senior year. And so I got to organize fundraisers and school spirit activities for the school. And I also led practice and taught choreography. And so I just have lasting friendships and that I cherish so much from doing this. And I got to really learn what it takes to be a leader and a good role model to the younger girls.
And how would you manage your days so that you accomplish the most important have-to-do list?
Okay, so my favorite thing to do when I know like I have a lot of stuff to get done is, make a list. My friends, tease me all the time. They're like, "Riley, like, are you gonna make a list or a schedule today?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like I am," because I start with the most important things, and then I like to set goals for myself. And so I like to think, okay, if I get done with this thing at this time or this thing at this time, like, I don't know, it creates like sort of like a motivation for myself that I can use. And I'll admit, like, I would procrastinate a lot. Procrastination is probably one of my weaknesses that I've worked on and faced in the past. But I've like come to find out that by doing this, I can really stay on task and focused and really do my best work.
That was really good.
Also, by the way, sorry guys if I have two monitors, so it might seem like I'm looking away from the camera all the time. But
No, you're good. You're good.
all right, and I'll do the questions for you.
Okay.
So, you ready?
Yeah.
Give me an example of an accomplishment you are proud of.
So an accomplishment I'm proud of is back in high school, with a couple of my friends, we decided to start a club. It was called Generations Club, and I think just all the responsibilities and the work and the preparation that comes with creating a club and then that club like being successful, I think is a huge thing. So we had to figure out like engagement and interest and who would be in it if we did start this club. And then we had to think about like logistics, like, okay, how are we going to organize it so that everybody can participate? So Generations Club was pretty much a club where we were trying to build a relationship with like our generation as well as the older generations. So we would go to old homes and like volunteer with the nursing homes. And then so on top of that, you have your money and how are we going to allocate the money to be able to start this club and be successful. So I think that a combination of all of these, so like leadership and being a team player and putting in the work in order to see um, a goal was a super large part of starting this club.
What are the most rewarding aspects of a job?
So kind of going off that, I think that when you like plan and prepare and you work super hard towards a goal, and then when that goal turns out, you like end up accomplishing it or you have a successful result, I think is so rewarding. Um, and just to see how much your hard work pays off. And then going off that, I also think that coming up with a solution to whatever problem it may be, like being able to see that solution possibly being successful is also extremely rewarding, as well as just being a part of a greater goal and a greater good is super rewarding that can be found in I think any job as long as you see it and you like put your mind to that.
Tell me about a time when your first solution did not resolve an issue. What did you do?
So over the summer, it was a couple summers ago, I worked in a very rural clinic in Malaysia with my aunt. And so every day we would have this one patient come in. Well, he wasn't really a patient. We like, there was no way we could treat him because we were just like a family clinic, like a family doctor. But every day he would come in and we soon realized that he was schizophrenic and he would always come into the clinic and he would be asking for like medicine for us to treat him and just some sort of treatment that he could get. And every time we would be like, we can't help you. Like, there's just no way. We're not licensed to treat you. We just don't have the medicine for that. And every day he would come in, even though, like, regardless of what we said to him, and we would even give him like pamphlets of information. We would be like, here is another doctor that can help you, until finally he like kept coming in. We were like, okay, like we need to take this now into our own hands because otherwise he's not going to get any treatment. And um with schizophrenic patients, if you don't treat them like soon, it can get extremely bad. So what my aunt and I decided to do finally was we were like, okay, like we will drive you, we will take you over to the psychiatrist in the clinic that can actually help you. And so we did, and that was our final solution. And after like a couple of weeks, he came back and he was like, I'm like so grateful for you guys. I now feel so much better. Like I finally got the treatment I needed. So that was also super rewarding.
What are your key skills?
So I would say my key skills include leadership, being a team player, and then I also think that listening is a super important skill. As for leadership, my position in Generations Club, I was secretary, so I was the person who was kind of like the like in between person. So I would have all contact between the nursing home and the club, as well as keeping track of hours and how much engagement there was in the club. And then I was also in a club called Playing for Others, and this was outside of school. And in this, I was a teen leader. So I had like a little small group that we would do personal development together, and we would we were also trying to like bond relationships between children with disabilities and other teens without disabilities. And so that was super rewarding as well, being able to lead the teens in my group to like show that a relationship can, like a deep friendship can be built with someone with a disability, and to show that they are just as capable as we are. So I think like leading my team in that way was super rewarding. And then being a team leader and listening, I think kind of go hand in hand, and with leadership, I guess, too, because I think to be a good leader, you have to listen to the rest of your team or the people you are leading, as well as um, like lead them, of course, in order to have a successful like goal and team. And I think that it's also super important. You, of course, don't want to be an overpowering leader, and you want to make sure that everybody is heard. So those are my key skills.
How do you manage your day so that you can accomplish the most important have to do items?
So what I like to do when I'm either feeling super overwhelmed or like I have a lot to do that day is I'll make a priorities list. So I'll at the top of my list will be everything that I like need to accomplish first and like maybe due dates that are coming up before any of the other due dates. And so I'd always start with the most like urgent items that I really do need to do first. And I would also make a schedule. So I'd say, okay, here's what I'm going to do like at this time, as well as, of course, incorporating breaks and doing things for leisure. But I do also think that refraining from doing a lot of things that I would normally do if I had the extra time is necessary if I do have a lot of things to do that day. So I'd make a schedule and I would definitely do the things that are most important first and then go down my list until hopefully I have everything checked off.
All right, thanks.